sets up in trouble. Leonard Little forced to fumble on the turf.
Everett goes deep. Touchdown to Willie Anderson. And he doesn't even stop. He's headed for the locker room. The Rams win it.
To Marshall. Fall to the 20. Fall at the 10. He's going to score.
Ferragamo with a lot of time. Gets it to Ronnie. He's going to go for a touchdown. Phil Olsen, number 72. The first one don't get you, the other one will. Merlin kind of slowed him up back in the backfield. 10, Gabriel going deep for Maslowski. Touchdown. Here's the pitch to Dickerson outside to the left. He cuts it back into the end zone for the score.
Adjusting for it is Isaac Bruce, and Isaac Bruce threads his way for a touchdown.
Steven Jackson to the end zone. Game over.
It is caught by Dyson. Can he get in? No, he cannot. Mike Jones made the tackle. And the Rams have won the Super Bowl.
Welcome back, guys, to another Downtown Rams podcast. It's a new one. It's a whole new thing I'm doing. It's called the Throwback Thursday Edition of the Downtown Rams podcast. It's episode 92. And what better way to kick off Throwback Thursday with none other than Rams legend, 1969 MVP, and hopefully very soon Hall of Fame quarterback Roman Gabriel. How are you doing, Roman?
Well, Jake, that's nice of you to say those good things. I can remember when I first came to the Rams, my name was A.H., but I'm doing fine, thank you, sir.
Absolutely. No, I really appreciate the time. Obviously, it's not every day you get to talk to someone as legendary as yourself. My mom, who's not even a football, just to put it this way, she knew exactly who you were. So it's like,
well, I'm very fortunate. My dad blessed me with his name because one of the things that a lot of people, when they first meet me, they say I got a great name. And when you think about it, all those great quarterbacks that are in the Hall of Fame, like the great Johnny Unitas, what a name. How about Bart Starr? Can you believe that one?
Yeah, right. No, it's a fantastic name, and I mean, you joined an organization that had some big names. I mean, Norm Van Brocklin, Bob Waterfield, obviously yourself, and then later on you have, Jim Everett, Kurt Warner, hopefully Jared Goff at some point. Vince Ferragamo, so
well,
been a lot of
and Elroy Hirsch, Crazy Legs signed me.
Yeah, and Elroy Hirsch is a huge name, so
I know.
So, I mean, it's really cool to have you on, and I got a bunch of questions for you because again, it's not every day you get to talk to somebody as legendary as yourself. So,
in my own mind, Jake.
Well, I mean, you have quite the skill set there. You're in the College Football Hall of Fame. Hopefully someday you'll be in the NFL Hall of Fame. I'm hoping it's really soon, and I believe it should be really soon, but, we'll get to that.
Well, it seems like you got to die to get in, Jake. Because my good friend Kenny Stabler, look at how long it took him to finally get him. He had to die.
Well, this podcast got really grim really fast, Roman.
Okay, all right. And look at Jerry Kramer, how long he's waited to get in.
I hear you. I definitely hear you. But, I mean, it goes along with football. I mean, your acting and broadcasting career, I mean, is there anything you can't do?
Right. In this day and age, I can hardly walk. But no, I was proud to be able to do a lot of things. And that's the greatest thing about having been an NFL player. Especially in L.A., the people you meet, all of a sudden somebody wants you to go on Wonder Woman or Sheriff Lobo or make a movie with John Wayne or go to Vietnam with Bob Hope or even make a little small movie with Jackie Gleason. How do you beat that?
I don't think you can. I mean, it's really impressive. I saw the Wonder Woman thing and I was like, wow. I mean, I just saw that movie like last year. It's like a reboot of it, but. And then I see that, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll get right into it. You were drafted in 1962, first overall in the AFL draft by the Raiders. But then you were also drafted in the NFL draft, second overall by the Rams.
Right behind my good friend and roommate Merlin Olsen, one of the greatest ever.
I actually had Phil Olsen on the show, so I did know that. It's
Oh yeah, if Phil hadn't gotten injured so early in his career, he could have been possibly near as good as his brother Merlin.
Yeah, no, he had that unfortunate injury in it was like the All-Star game thing that he was talking to me about that they would never do anymore. It was like the college All-Stars versus the top guys in the league, and I mean that would never happen. But
we got to play against Green Bay, yay!
So my question, Roman, is how on earth do you react to getting drafted that high twice in 1 year? I mean,
well, I'm trying to think of how many great quarterbacks there were. I can think of one, Sandy Stevens, and I'm not sure. Did John Hadle come out the same time I did, or was he a year before me? But if he came out at the same time, John Hadle was great. Sandy Stevens, Minnesota. Those are the three that I can remember offhand.
And how did you decide who you were going to ultimately sign with? I mean, I know if it were me, I mean, I've been a Rams fan my whole life, so if it came down to that, I'd pick the Rams. But how did you decide?
Well, in those days, you didn't have an agent, so I went to my coach, my college coach, just as coach. Here's the deals that I've got on the table, and I'm not sure right now what I want to do. So I said the Raiders offered me $12,500 and a $2,500 bonus, and the Rams offered me $15,000 and a $5,000 bonus. He says, well, look at it this way. The Rams are established, and it's not for sure that the AFC is going to make it. And also, Bob Waterfield, who's a Hall of Fame quarterback, maybe you can learn something from him. And that's how it was decided.
That's fantastic. I love it. I really do. It's crazy because, having Phil on, he mentioned he was drafted by the Boston Patriots and then he was traded to the Rams. So,
yeah,
it's crazy, all these different avenues. And there were more, there were more rounds back in the day. It's just, crazy to see how things evolved. And obviously you don't have guys getting drafted twice anymore. So, I mean,
yeah, what was interesting too, Jake, is that when the AFC finally came along, they used to hide players.
Really?
So the NFL couldn't get them.
How about that?
I know.
Well, I'm glad they didn't hide you.
Well, it's hard to hide a big Filipino type guy.
So, before your dream of playing in the NFL begun, was there an idol or anybody that you looked up to that possibly led you to playing football at the professional level?
Well, you'll be surprised at this answer because originally as a young person, my dream was to become a Major League Baseball player, if not basketball, and football was my third pick.
Wow.
And when I got to high school, coming out of junior high school, I was a defensive end and a tight end and had 1 year quarterbacking. And when I got to high school, one of the greatest coaches I've been under, Leon Brogdon, of course, he's passed away, but he coached all three sports. And we practiced, I remember we would practice summer ball. And the great Sonny Jurgensen, who's from Wilmington, he came out and spoke to the team, and I watched him throw the ball, and I said, holy cow, maybe one day I'll have a shot to be somewhat as good as him.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, that again, it's the avenue thing. Everyone goes, different ways. I mean, you have all these 3-sport athletes like nowadays, and it's kind of crazy, seeing yourself. I mean, you wanted to play baseball, and you ended up being one of the better football players to ever play the game. So it's crazy how things work out that way.
And then when I got offered a grant and aid to go to North Carolina State, the one thing I wanted to be able to do was at least my freshman year play all three sports and figure out which way I wanted to go. And NC State was the only school of all the schools that I was recruited by that offered me that opportunity.
Huh. And who was who were the other schools that were after you?
Well, one is where I really wanted to go because being sort of an Irish Filipino Catholic at the time, Notre Dame, but I didn't have a car, and I said, "Doggone, it's too far to thumb back and forth from Indiana back to Carolina."
Mm.
Of course, all the big four, Clemson, Duke, Wake Forest, Virginia. There were a lot of schools.
Yeah, definitely.
But then I figured that it's only 120 miles from my hometown to get to NC State, so it's easy to thumb back and forth.
I think that's pretty incredible. And the fact they gave you, the opportunity to play, 3 different sports, that's also pretty huge as well.
Yeah, when they came to recruit me, the defense, because I played defense in high school, and so they sent the defensive coordinator to know that I was going to get to play both ways, and they sent the head baseball coach and the freshman basketball coach. So it wasn't a hard decision making, and they had what I wanted to go to school for, so it was good. I never regretted it.
So, when you went to the NFL, obviously, I mean, you won the MVP and you played with some fantastic players, but what was your favorite moment or one that really sticks out to you playing, at the professional level?
I would say the last 4 games of the 65 season stand out because up until the last 4 games, I had not played much, and Bill Munson was our quarterback, and we were good friends, and he got hurt, so I got to play against Green Bay, Baltimore, St. Louis, and Cleveland. We beat all 3. We beat 3 of them but Baltimore. And then I would say the best team season we had as a Ram was that 67 season when we had to beat Green Bay, and then we had to beat Baltimore, who was undefeated at the time, to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Those probably stand out. And then third would be in 69 being selected MVP by your peers.
Yeah, that definitely. I mean, you could be the best guy in your generation, but if there's somebody that just happened to have a better season than you may never come home with that hardware.
You're exactly right. And see, we played that era when Green Bay, Dallas, the Vikings, and Baltimore were the best of the best. And like nowadays, you can lose a few games, but in those days, you could hardly lose any games because you didn't play that many. And we always played all 4 of those teams.
Yeah, and then, I mean, who is your, playing, I mean, it could be, with the Eagles as well, but who is your closest teammate, in the NFL?
Well, at the time I was playing when I first retired, the 2 closest were our middle linebacker, Myron Patios, who still lives out your way in California. Great guy, great football player. And my center, Ken Iman, who passed away. But Kenny and I spent a lot of time together on and off the field. I would say those 2 would be the closest.
Wow.
And third closest, of course, the next guy would be I'd have Merlin Olsen because we roomed together. And then he helped me get that part in that John Wayne movie. I didn't mean to leave Merlin out because we roomed together.
That's so cool. Like, honestly, that it's just it's pretty crazy. And I know just that whole concept. I mean, you're part of like an era where people refer to the Rams uniform as like the Roman Gabriel uniforms. Like
I saw that.
Like, I think it was Steve Weish.
Last year, when they went to the blue and white, and then I guess it was the 49ers they got beat by, and they were in those god awful gold and blue uniforms. And I talked to the head of public relations, Kyle Ebersgerd, I think his name, because whenever they decided to go blue and white, he had emails that were going to blue and white. And then I hit him and I said, yeah,